We're
hear what you're about to throw my way.
we're recording. Hey, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in to Bro Media Podcast here. I'm Lazarus. I am one of your co-founders here of the podcast. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a musician. I'm a father, and I'm just a regular old Joe that's just like you. And that's why we created this podcast, is so that you can hear conversations from not like so much polarizing people, but people that are actually normal and have day-to-day jobs. And we live in this world too. So I'm here with my co-founder Ryan. Go for it, Ryan.
What's up, everybody? I'm Ryan. As Laz just told you, I'm a fellow business owner and entrepreneur and professional shenanigator, and get to do this with my buddy Laz once a week. Welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you guys tuning in. We just went over our logistics as we do before we shoot the podcast. And this is really getting some crazy traction, man. Like almost 28,000 views. The crazy part is we have 34 subscribers, but 28,000 views. So it's a little lopsided, but that's okay. I think most of the people that are following us full time are the friends and family, and that's great. I love that. But man, like just a couple of dudes, BSing with each other once a week to get that kind of views. And I think this is our 9th, maybe 10th podcast we've done together.
Yep, we're up there.
So that's pretty exciting stuff, man. I mean, if you break it down by podcast, each ones we've done, and to have the views we have and the time watched, I forgot what the hours were, but that's pretty substantial for what we're doing, and it's exciting. But thanks for tuning in, everybody. I haven't really spoke to you, Laz, other than to see how you've been doing and feeling in maybe a week and a half, because we've been so busy with work.
Yep.
And everything. Life I have been checked out. I have other than just being completely focused, trying to push through a project that's just never ending is just a nightmare. I spoke with a ghost on
I saw your post. Yeah, that was weird.
It was a really strange moment. I had some really cool and interesting things happen, I think, because I'm open to that spiritual stuff. But I literally walked up to a couch where a guy was sitting on it, and he asked me how the job was going. It looked like he was one of the building owners people. Told him, and I was like, yeah, it looks like you guys are getting your street paved, and it looks like you'll be in business here pretty quick. And he's like, yeah, that's great, man. We'll have a good day. And I turned around and walked away. As I'm walking away, the lights are kicking on because they're motion activated. And I was like, why are they kicking on? Like, that guy should have been, is that guy sitting in the dark this whole time? Oh, my thumb just went.
Thumbs up.
Was that guy sitting in the dark this whole time? So I played it back on the cameras, and sure enough, like a total
that was weird.
Fight Club moment. Like, the dude wasn't there. Like, he wasn't there. And I showed my young tech, Joshua. I was like, look, man, when he came in the room, in the IT room, I was like, is there a guy on the couch that was sitting there? He's like, no, why? And I was like, dude, you just got up here. Let me show you something. I played it back. And he was like, no way. He was all bugged out and ran out of the room. But that place, I found out, was an undisturbed Indian burial ground for about 200 years. And now they've put a building there. And so I wouldn't say it's any spooky dooky stuff, but definitely mischievous and pretty cool.
Definitely.
That happened. That blew me away. And I was like, I kind of don't want to say anything, because people are going to either think that it's a joke, or like I will admit, I'm a full-time, like, talking crap is my first language. But this was real. This was a real thing.
We'll find a way to share it. You have the video, right? Because I saw you posted it. So what you'll do is send it to me, and we're gonna try to share it with the audience here.
Yeah, that'd be cool. It tripped me out, but I was also like, you know what? I'm okay with putting things out there that aren't comfortable for everyone.
So would you consider that like a high of your week, that something paranormal happened to you?
Well, yeah, because it was so cool. Like, it was chill, right? It was like a dude in, like, what's weird is I can see the blue jeans and the shoes and the black shirt, but I wasn't, and you'll see in the video, I was half on my phone reading an email had my work bag on and my laptop and program. I was like in thought, and it was literally just like you can see it's a quick conversation. So it wasn't like studying someone's face, like I know your face really well. I really wasn't studying that moment. It was more of a cordial conversation. It looked like a building owner because there's a lot of them that pop in from California and other places and just kind of check status. And he kind of had that tone, that cadence to him. So I just, cordial, have a job to do. It looks like you guys are, add to his question. Well, it looks like you guys will be in business soon. They're just paving your road. That was a whole problem for this project, and they were trying to open sooner. They couldn't get their road paved, and it was a big deal for them. So that was kind of how we left off, and it didn't even happen. It was so weird. But yeah, um, but I'm cool with it, man. Like, obviously, I try to attract positive energy at all times.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
I'm not really open to negative energy. So like that's kind of one of those things where if you allow yourself to have a good experience, whether it's a spiritual one, uh, then you're gonna have it if you're open to seeing it. So if you're like my dad, that stuff was hocus pocus and doesn't exist.
I mean, we'll put the video if I hadn't showed it already, but basically I'll try to edit it in there for us so that the
Yeah,
people can make up their own minds on
that'd
this
be great.
video. So if you guys saw this video already, of me putting it into the video, um, let us know what you think.
Yeah, I'm gonna send this to you right now because I'll forget.
Yeah, send it.
But yeah, it was a neat. It's been an exhausting week. Just going through. Um, whoops, sorry. I was just going through the motions of this project, trying to get done, trying to get out of there. We have another one starting. We just got awarded a. There you go. Send it to you. Just got awarded another building that's going to be probably the biggest building of our careers. It's
Okay.
a 2 million square foot Microsoft data center. Super excited about that. But that comes, that's going to come with some stress and some growth and growing pains and exciting stuff. Um, had some challenges with other old customers that were pretty frustrating that I won't get into. Just, a lot of stuff, a lot of highs and lows this week.
Definitely.
A little bit off at times just because I'm tired. And today was the hottest day of the year so far. I think it was 114 out where we were working.
And it makes a simple project where temperatures just kind of knocking behind your neck.
Yeah, just droning on. And
yeah,
we got up at, so I don't know. So most people that know me, I don't morning. I don't like to get up early, but lately I feel like my body is changing. I'm just getting older. When I wake up like 6 o'clock, 6:30, um, but lately I've been waking up way earlier. But I don't go to bed early. I go to bed still around 12:30 at night. So no matter what, I'm gonna be tired, but I can't turn it off. I can't shut down my brain before that time. So like today, I tried to go to sleep at or last night, I tried to go to sleep at like 10, and that wasn't happening. So I finally fell asleep at like maybe 12:30, 1 o'clock, and then couldn't sleep. So because I was worried about not getting enough sleep. And so I was every 30 minutes, I was like glancing at the clock. Oh God, this is going to be a long day.
Yeah.
And, the alarm finally actually goes off, and you're kind of looking at like, am I dreaming that this is like, is this real? No, it's time to get up. So I get up, do the coffee thing, and start the day, man. And like, people are up. People are causing traffic at that time. People are on the freeways. Like I'm not used to that. I don't like it. I usually like to start at my own time. That's why I'm on business for myself. We'll work as long as we have to, but I don't like mornings. But now the heat's here, and now the stuff that we're doing is
you got to do it early morning.
Yeah, I mean it's working and standing in it is one thing. Like my best friend, uh, he works for he works in uniform. We'll say he's a private man, but
yeah,
works in uniform, and he's never complaining about the sun. He's never complaining about the heat, and I kind of feel like it's like kind of a little bit of a little bit soft sometimes when I hear him like this guy's standing around in a jacket and getting ready to hop on his motorcycle, and I'm standing outside like burning up in the sun, and I work in the sun. But I guess it's just it's one of those things. If you're being active and you're ripping cables and you're pulling and you're sweating, and it's a different kind of fun.
Yep.
It's kind of terrible when you're going through that kind of stuff. So
Well,
today was hot. Today was rough.
Well, I'll give you my highs. I've had some good highs over this 2 week span.
Yeah.
Today had lunch with my wife. She's doing some training. Sorry, that was yesterday. We had we had lunch with my wife. We went out to Jersey Mike's. We had a sub. Just enjoying our time each other. I told you that we went shopping a little bit because we had a little bit extra long lunch. So went shopping, and I've been losing weight. So
dude, I can't deny it. Look at your face. I'm tripping out.
So that's another that
let me take you in.
that's another high point of my few weeks because it's been a journey with the semi-glutide. So yeah, so that one's good. I'm working on my 1981 Ford Bronco. My dad took my 2 front seats and my bench to Mexico because, guys, let's be honest, it's too expensive to get any commission work out here to have somebody do it. Something that would cost.
That's gonna come back nicer than here too. It's gonna come back right.
Well, it's gonna have the seal of approval.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anything that it costs $1,000 here,
yeah,
is a fraction to maybe $300 in Mexico tops.
Nice.
And my dad, that the Bronco that I have used to belong to my dad. So he's been watching me like working on it, taking it all apart. He's been coming over a lot more lately just because.
Right there too, like bonding with your pops.
Yeah.
That's fun, man. Like that, I miss projects with my dad. I can get him to come down every now and then. He's getting older, but I love working with him. So those are core
memories. Yeah. So it feels good having my dad around just because my dad's a lone wolf. He's just very quiet. He doesn't have much friends outside of work or the family or anything like that. All his family's in Mexico. So all he really does is work. He puts in 60 hours a week at the post office, 60, 70 hours at the week a week. He's constantly working. So it's good to have him, show up and do a few things here and there. So
that's that gift of time we talk about in our podcast, man. Like we all run such a busy, crazy life that when you give somebody your time, that's worth more than anything.
Oh yeah.
Gone, it's gone. Second ago is gone. You can't get it back.
Exactly.
So someone says, "Hey, we're all busy, but we take time to spend time with each other, and especially family." Your pops, man. I know that's probably like it's a good staple, something that you'll do for your kids too.
Oh yeah, definitely. And then, do I have any lows from my weeks here? Not really, honestly. Everything's kind of been kind of on a good coast. Yeah, I can talk about work, but it's just the normal stuff. You know what I mean? Like I'm in account management, so everything thrown at me, it's already on fire. So that's my weeks.
Catching bombs.
Yeah, all day, man, all day. But yeah, everything's great. Work is good. Family's good. So right now, no downs.
That's good, dude. That's good. I mean, let's keep that. Hope that energy stays for you, and you keep that, and you keep moving forward with the positivity, man. I think that's literally like we attract that stuff. We find new ways to find what works for us, and we keep pushing it. We keep going. I want more of that in my life. That's working for me. Let's do that.
Definitely. So I do have some items here that we can talk about, and I do have the links up.
I'm excited because you didn't tell me.
I didn't tell you exactly what they are, but I mean, it is stuff that's been out there.
We're working on being able to do more live stuff, but it's just not quite there yet as far as the smoothness of it.
Right. So I'm not sure if you saw this already, but our president, Joe Biden, just I don't know, man. Like he seizes up on stage weirdly.
Oh, dude, I didn't see this at all.
So, D-Day is a monumental day in our world's history. When America showed up to Germany to the beaches, young men are literally 18 years old running to their deaths, because they're going to go help another country and other people. So this is just freaking awkward, if you ask me.
It's like he paused out, and
his brain lagged or something.
He kind of
people say that
dudes,
people say are obviously saying that he deuced himself.
You think he had to let one go?
Like,
I mean, he's old enough to let one go without showing it. I mean, I could let one go right now and nobody would know it.
And then right afterwards, he's
running off stage. Yeah,
it's just running off stage, and watch what's his name, Emmanuel Macron from France, kind of like saving the moment because they're supposed to say, handshake with these like veterans.
I'd see that. Yeah.
And
when did this happen? Today?
All within the last 12 hours, man.
Wow.
So.
And that's his wife, right?
Yeah, she's leading him off. Yeah, basically, yeah.
Started him off actually pretty quick. That's interesting, man. Something's weird there. Yeah, I don't know.
The world's talking. So I figured, like, obviously,
man, I totally missed all this today.
So let's take a minute and let's unpack this.
Yeah.
So you saw our president. Even there's another video that I didn't share, but he walks out of the airplane, and like he has no idea where he's at.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the first time. It's not the second time. It's not the third time. Like I believe this is an issue. Like you can call it cognitive issue. I'm not sure if that's even the right word because I'm not diagnosing him. I'm just literally watching these videos, and he's literally not there anymore.
Weird. So, are you familiar with the term the Overton window?
I know the term.
So, like, when the Overton window shifts, let's say that I like presented something to you that was absolutely like not something that what you were about at all, and I hit you with the craziest, the unthinkable, right? Like the radical, far, for the sake of the side of something, the far right side. Not that we're talking left or right politically. Like this was way off, right? The window's in the middle, and I could see that you don't really accept it. So I'm gonna step back. I'm gonna hit you with something a little bit more sensible, and then I'm gonna hit you with something that's a little bit more popular, sensible, and then I'll support it with a policy, and remind you of the popularity of it, right? And now I have a box. Now I have this idea in my box that I framed it for you, right? So then I'm gonna move it to the other unthinkable, the other side, the left side of the box, and I'm gonna hit you with an unthinkable and a radical idea. I'm gonna show you some acceptable things that happen in that side of the window, and then I'll go back to the box, and we're gonna talk about it again. It's not gonna sound as crazy, and I'm gonna shift it back over to the unthinkable because I've already sold you on what I didn't want to sell you on, but I've already talked about it. I've shifted the Overton window. And so that's basically what I was telling you, my best friend actually showed me told me this years ago. And I've used this so many times in my life. When somebody approaches you with something crazy and you're like, we're supposed to accept this because it's like somebody had shifted the window. I just didn't know about the window. So what you just showed me, like this was fresh for me. And let me shrink this down. Makes me look super sunburned because I am. uh, I didn't expect that. I didn't know we were going to talk about it today, but I obviously like we've seen this. We've seen like literally in front of our faces. We've talked about UFOs. We've been like, okay, yeah, we already knew that. That's cool. We'll move on, brother. Skip ahead, brother. And then now we've got a president that's the leader of our free world. Literally looks like a robot that's short circuiting, like the movie Short Circuit. Disassembled number 5 right in front
Number
of our
5.
face.
Yep.
And we're like, yeah, but that's fine. It's fine. Like we've seen this. So the window of acceptability is shifted, and we're like, of course, he's old. He's leading our country, guys.
One of
Like
the most, if
he's
not the
supposed to
most,
be like,
the most important position
yeah,
in our country, CEO wise, leadership wise.
yeah.
We can't have glitches.
He's supposed to be the MF CEO. He's supposed to be the head of all of the
Like
things.
when something goes wrong in our country, every
Yeah.
single person will tune to our TV to see what that one person has to say, no matter who they are. If it's if it was Donald Trump or if it was Joe Biden, we're all
And
gonna tune in to
they're
see
going
this
to base
person.
that guy off of you and I and our ability to be idiots enough to go, oh yeah, that's just the president. He's just doing presidential things. He's you know he's it's fine. It's like getting eaten by a bear and going, well, it was just being a bear. I was I was bearing.
If I was like interviewing him, asking him questions, and he closed his eyes because there's another video. He's sitting down with all these leaders, and there's a speech going on, and he closes his eyes in like at an important moment of the conversation for like 30 seconds, and I'm like, dude, are you awake? Are you okay? Like you start asking questions. That's what I'm trying to say. Like like everything, it's like you said, the goalpost has been moved. It has been moved. It has been moved way too many times. And it's deeply concerning. At this time, even people are like, well, I'm gonna vote for him. That's just fine. Whatever reason is you vote for him. But when you start voting for either a dead person or just a body to 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 have your way or to have an aha moment, that's not okay either.
Right. Yeah, that's not normal. It's not normal. Do you remember like okay, well, so when I was young, and this is like this again, this has nothing to do with left or right, democracy or Democrats and Republicans and stuff. Because I don't want to split our podcast that way. It's
right.
Just, if you know me, you know me, and if you don't, then give me a chance. But like, I'm probably not for everybody the way that I believe. But that's okay. Like I'm very accepting of all sides of views, because why let your opinion, oh, my dog, why let your opinion disrupt like your flow state, right? Like you're believing in something, you're being powerful, you're feeling motivated about something. So why would I interrupt that with my ideas? Like I don't know that I don't think that my idea is going to change that. So
right.
Thing, do you? But like, do you remember like when I was a kid and I hearing like my parents talk about, oh, thank you, the boss has entered.
Oh, okay.
And the dogs. I remember when my parents would talk about John F. Kennedy and talk about like Ronald Reagan and presidents that were just like these, I would say like machismo, but like just leaders, just very dominant, and not like in a way that's like discrediting people and like making us feel like peasants, but leaders, real leaders, like not shells of men, not people short circuiting on stage, not having to be told what to say and do. These dudes went unscripted. I don't even think the technology was there for us to go to the moon or do any of that stuff. But like we pulled it off. Like we led the free world. They led the free world unscripted. They would go on stage and maybe they'd have a little speech written. But those speeches, man, like those were powerful. Now, could you go back in 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago, and just recite like a powerful speech that you've heard from a leader? Probably not. But I can tell you that, from the Reagan era when I was a child, even to Bush and even to Bill Clinton, all of and Obama. Not that I voted for those dudes, but they all were memorable people. They were very powerful speakers. They were very listen toable, if you will. But I mean, I wouldn't say even Trump has the best way of speaking to people, but there's moments, right? Like there's moments when he wasn't in office where you're like, why isn't he talking like this now? Like, you know what I mean? And I'm sure there's a science behind that, but sometimes you'll listen to people and you're like, that dude is smart as hell. And other times you're like, he shouldn't be talking at all. That's you just made it bad. You just made it sound like most people are tuned out now. But to watch that shell of a man be on stage and represent us as a people, as a nation, it's strange.
It's very strange. It's concerning.
It's embarrassing because, like, I hope that doesn't show people that's who we are, but I guess it kind of does if they don't know us. Like, do you really know much about Poland, or do you know much about other places where there's leaders? Not really, but we might see their leader and go, "What the heck is that? That guy's a shell of a man. Like they look like sissies." You know what I mean? So, yeah, to answer long-windedly your question, like I think it's strange. I think we're in weird times, and it's election year. And to add to the thing, I saw that Biden closed the borders down here in Arizona. Well, it's election year, so now you're going to do something about it. That's awesome.
And that's funny you say that because I have that, so I'm going to share that news article. But I 100% agree with you. It's very concerning. We're definitely weird times where this weird normalcy of accepting handicaps, and I mean that in a way where it's not like where a handicapped person or a broken leg or anything like that, but they're giving handicaps like sports wise language,
yeah,
and making it okay for leadership. And this leadership, you need to have the strongest candidate that's going to represent the whole country.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that it's not a place for a participation trophy.
Exactly.
The president, you shouldn't just get a participation trophy and get escorted on off stage and pointed to where to go, where to walk, what to see, what to do. Like you're literally being escorted. Like look, you're being escorted off stage because you don't know where you're at. Like it's time for your money. I don't know. Like I could go into it with making fun of somebody, but like that's not really advantageous to like.
So
it speaks for itself.
No, that video speaks for itself. So here we have the what you just mentioned. Biden signals intention to address border crisis to reduce asylum entries. So for the last 2.5, almost 3 years, let's call it 3 years. You and I both live in Arizona. We're native to Arizona, so we've known this always to be an issue for our state, and I'm not sure if other people from other states know the degree that it's at right now. Maybe you do see it now because there's that influx of illegal immigration going all around the country. What are we at? I think they're saying 15 to 18 million possible.
Well, it's not just Hispanics
right. It's not just Hispanics. If you watch the videos, there's Hispanic, there's Mexicans, there's Salvadorians, there's Chinese, there's Korean, Somalian, there's Russian, Ukrainian, you name it.
Yeah.
It's a wide open thing right now. And as you mentioned, President Joe Biden, I'll read this off on Tuesday. announced that he would be passing an executive order to curb the number of asylees. And again, I think it goes to the idea of what you said. It's election year. I've got to try to get some votes here because I'm down in the polls like crazy. I'm losing in the polls like crazy.
Do you remember when the dude came across that was like, you don't know who you just let across, but you will?
Yeah.
And it turned out to be like one of the most highest, baddest dudes. Like,
he was on a wanted list.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And he was like, I just wandered across. And that was that was maybe a year ago.
That's not long ago. Yeah.
Now you're deciding. So everyone's here. Everyone's already like established, and everyone that made that push is already here. So shutting down the borders, and but man, I love the Mexican people. I love I have roots in there. I have family members there. I have, my closest people that I work with, my closest friends. Hispanic culture is fantastic, and that like you were saying about your dad, that ethic, the work, the
yep.
kind of quality of people, dying breed, really, like we're the modern world doesn't know how to get down like that anymore. So
right.
They just want to work. They want to be providing for their family. So I get it. Like, come here, do it right, sign up,
So like just to kind of yeah, just
like these are like coming over from Africa and like places of where how did you even get here? Like and they're coming in droves, and which is fine. Do it right though. Do it right. Do it right. Like we have some
that's what keeps it from getting chaotic, and that's what we have. We definitely have chaos at the border. You have a great division in the country because majority of Americans do believe that we should take immigration, but legal immigration.
Yeah.
If you're an asylee that looking for asylum, you go through the port of entry and you state your case there. You get your court dates and all that stuff established. You're welcome in the country, protected, awesome. But there's also a degree where there's a border in our country that states, hey, we are a country. We're a sovereign entity. We're not Mexico. We're not Korea. We're not whatever. We're not Canada. We're the United States of America. And when people just cross in the border, it just kind of it slaps, families that did it right in the face. I believe so.
You have to think of it like when you meet a new friend, right? You don't know, you meet a new person. You don't know if they're going to be your friend. You have to vet them in. You have to let them kind of, and you mutually share things, get to know each other. Who are you as a person? What are you wanting with my friendship? And same thing with what are you doing in our country? That's cool. You want to provide for your family. That's awesome. That's great. That's what I want to do too. I want to protect my family. I want to do that alongside of you as a brother, as a sister. Like that's great. But then there's the not everybody's your friend mentality, and sometimes you are the sheep in wolves' clothing. You're being manipulated, and the hot terms gaslighting, things of that nature, by people coming here with false intentions and to hurt your families, to hurt you.
It's naive to think that 100% of these people have good intentions.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It would be super naive to even think that.
I want to believe that everyone that comes here wants the same things you and I do for our families. We want safety. We want a sanctuary of peace as a home. We want to be able to come and go from our homes without fearing of being, the family members raped, stolen from, pillaged, all the things that can happen other places and do happen other places that we take for granted as being Americans and having freedoms, that the Second Amendment, all those things kind of help pillarize our safety, because you and I know, like, you can make a phone call for medical, and chances are that medical may come in 20 minutes. They may not come for 30 minutes. They could come in 5 minutes. But really, if you held your breath right now, how long could you hold your breath for before you needed help? Seconds, right? Same
Yeah.
thing with someone breaks into your home or tries to hurt your family. I am not going to wait for the cops to come to take care of situations or handle things. And I'm a huge law enforcement backer, um, and they serve their purpose to serve the people.
They have a huge responsibility, but they're spread too thin, especially nowadays.
They're staffed, and it's the same thing with nurses during COVID season.
Same thing, yeah.
A lot of really good people. We had some really good friends that just burned out through COVID. They were the fantastic nurses, fantastic healthcare. They just, and cops can't really do their job without fear of being fired, or like literally everybody's on camera. No one's helping. No one's helping law enforcement. And it's sad because not all cops are bad, despite of what the whippersnappers will tell you.
Yep.
And not all government agencies are terrible, except maybe the other one that starts with alcohol, tobacco, fire. But they it is June, by the way. That's a really fat joke. But anyways, there's good and bad is what I was getting at. There's good and bad of every side of things. There's good people on the right side of political things. There's good people on the left side of things. One of my closest customers is a super far lefty dude, and he and I will always goof with each other, big time. I bought stuff that I wouldn't normally even buy, just when I go to his business, that I can kind of linger and leave there, because he wasn't for the longest time, very much anti-Trump guy, but I would buy things just to kind of egg him on. He would buy things and egg me on. And so recently we had a conversation. He's like, I got to tell you something, man. He's like, um, I've stepped down from the Democratic Party completely. I'm no longer doing the meeting stuff. I'm not like leading any sort of campaigns, and I won't be voting democratically at all going forward. And I was like, why is that? Like I wasn't saying it was good or bad. I was like, but why are you so compelled? He's like, if you look at the state of things and where they're at, it's bad. It's bad. And I'm like, dude, I respect that. Like I agree with you, and I understand that something needs to change. And then you show me this video, and I'm like, dude.
And that's what I'm saying. Like,
what are we doing?
Let's have an honest conversation. Like let's leave the polarizing items out of the conversation. Let's talk about real stuff.
Yeah.
Gas prices. Let's talk about how much it costs to go to the grocery store nowadays.
Yeah. I feed my techs every day.
Let's $70,
$80 for sandwiches.
Let's talk about, people, mortgage rates, for new homeowners, even for current homeowners that outgrew their house and they need something maybe a little bit bigger. They can't because it's so expensive out there.
Yeah.
Your car breaks down and you're in the market to buy a new vehicle. Rates are through the roof. You're looking at, $800 payments, $1,000 payments, if your credit's not strong enough,
yeah, it seems like the more you struggle, the more you're targeted for. It's costing you more to live.
Yeah. Like I said, let's have real conversations, and that's what people should be having. And hopefully somebody's watching this and be like, guys, you guys are right. Like, I'm not talking about like there's very left and right topics. I don't even want to hit those on this podcast right now.
We don't care about Democrats and Republicans in this podcast.
Like I care, about, like you said, putting food in my family's stomach, having a roof over our heads. Obviously, yeah, the real stuff that's day to day for me that actually that I'm involved in. I'm not like there's stuff that's happening like across the country in another community that doesn't affect me, or across the world there's stuff that's happening there that doesn't affect me, and right now, I can really literally say people are hurting. I have conversations daily with people, with IMs and things of that nature. Like we keep really tight communication with friends and family, and everybody's struggling, but everybody's struggling differently. And eyes are being opened right now. Like right now, it's not a good ship.
No, you're right, 100%.
We have a bad rudder. We have bad engine. There's a lot of things that are bad.
But this is that window. This is the Overton window. Like this is that. If you presented this today, like today of whatever day, June 6th, 2024, and you took today as all of the current events, everything that happened today, and you shifted it back 15 years,
Oh, people would be like, "That's not possible."
20 years, people are like, what is going on in the future? And how did we get here? What course of action happened to allow this is like wars have started for less, like where people freaking out and raging against their own government has started way for less. And now we're so used to what we're going through, we just keep shifting the window, man. We keep shifting the window. We keep sweeping it under the rug. Um, I'm actually kind of a little bit terrified and a little bit excited about this election year.
Oh, I'm there with you, 100%.
What's going to happen? But I really hope that whatever happens is it's a positive change, because we need that as a nation. Like whoever you're voting for, really think about that though. Like, can you imagine voting for a guy that's falling apart in front of your face to be there for another 4 years? But you can see, like, in time, right? If you go back, if you look at when Clinton took office, right? That was a handsome looking dude. But 8 years later, or he ran for 8 years, right?
Yeah, you got two.
8 years later, that dude aged, and any president that's got that kind of level of stress.
I've seen the pictures. Same thing with Obama.
Not running anything, but look at this. This is coming in, man. Like my wife's like, stop dying it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, Obama definitely aged hardcore. When you saw him from his videos when he was running for his first election,
yeah,
super young, you know, look,
playing basketball with people.
he's hooping. Yeah, he's doing things.
Yeah.
And then his last day, he definitely looked old. And it's like you said, stress, responsibility, the whole weight of the world is on their shoulders, and
I can't even imagine. I mean, as a business owner,
oh yeah, you're already making decisions to keep your employees, fed and paid and all that stuff.
Yeah, and that's something that I take like
go a millionfold.
That's full. Like that's the
10 million fold
thing, right? So like, I'm always looking out for my squad, like my guys, my people, my family, everything. Like that's gonna be. Don't try to enter there in a negative way. Like I'm smiley and happy and joyful, but don't do that. Like don't get in the way negatively for business stuff. But can you imagine like running a business, running the country, and that level of stress of everyone, right? Like you can't help everyone. You just can't.
You really can't.
I can help my company. I can do what I can do for my people, like the people directly with me. It's not that hard. There's not that many people. But if you're talking about the nation, and there's always going to be somebody that's left out, there's always going to be someone that needs something that you can't provide. That's got to take its toll on you, no matter who you are. No matter how good your heart is, you just can't do it. You can't get to everybody. So that's got to really take a toll on your health. And we're seeing it, right? Like whether you voted for Joe Biden or not, that dude is literally falling apart in front of your face. He is literally he is hanging on by less than a thread to get through this election. The debates are going to be off the chain. Like if Trump,
it's going to hit worldwide. These debates, every single person in the world's going to watch it.
If Trump is directed to form clever and good sentences and not just make fun of people and elementary school people to death, if he can hit valid points, he is going to dominate.
Oh yeah.
Like if he can speak like he does sometimes, it's going to be a wash. If he does the whole talk to everyone like they're 3 years old, most people check out.
The thought comes to mind is that I've already seen some preliminary videos of like people like talking about Joe Biden's requirements, his fighting requirements. You know what I mean? Like his debates, his asks. Like I I I feel CNN, like they have to be on CNN. They have to be moderated by somebody that's leaning towards him. It's always going to be that he's going to have favorite favoritism for sure.
Yeah.
And
Well,
the questions are not going to be drilling towards Biden at all. They never will be. There always would be Trump. You said this. How can you or
you're a
you
felon
did this?
like. But you know what? Honestly, man, the dude's the people's people now.
He really is at this point.
He's taking it on the chin, and he still wants to be the dad. If you think about it, like he's like, yeah, I caught bad raps. I've grabbed people by their private parts, but I care about this nation and I care about you, and I'm not going to stop. You can put me in jail. I'm still going to keep pushing. Like, what kind of a G is that?
No,
like, that's a dude, right?
Yeah, that's leadership. That he has balls. The fact that even when he started campaigning, every single month it was a new topic to attack him. For 4 years, it didn't stop.
Yeah.
For even after him giving up the White House, there hasn't been a time where he's had time to even breathe.
Yeah.
Because the Justice Department's after him, the White House is after him. There's
a lot of people that don't like the guy, and I can admit, like, even though personally, from my standpoint, supported Trump and will continue to. I don't always agree with the way he speaks. I don't always agree with his actions. I don't really like some of the things that he says, but I do know that my business as a small business owner and the way that I want to provide for my family and it fits my needs. It fits the bill, right? Like it's most people would did benefit from when he was in office. Most I can't really think of someone that didn't, and maybe I'm naive to that, and that's not an arguable thing.
I'll give you an example. So my father-in-law retired when Trump was in office. He started working at a company where my father-in-law never had a 401k. He started working at a company and he started putting money into his 401k to save. It shot up the little bit that he was investing in his 401k, which is helping him in his retirement. And that's just to paint the picture of how little much money was needed to stretch it out for an investment because it grew like substantially. I'm trying to remember I'm trying to remember the numbers. I think he might have put. I don't want to mistake, but let's just say it grew 3 or 4 times.
Wow.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And that's just to paint the picture of how better it was for somebody retiring.
And that's a story that I can identify with because of being a business owner. In my line of work, I don't have a 401k. Like my retirement will be when I sell my business, when I hand it off to, my most trusted, like my technician, that I really want him to take over the business, and I'll still be able to be there as an owner, but not in such command, and so like that's generating my own 401k. So like I'm not someone that worked at a company for 30 years or 20 years and retired. So I've never had a 401k. So that's really cool to see, like, from that side of things, like that made a huge difference, made a huge impact in your dad's life. That just because of who was in office and because, whether you like him or not, a good businessman is a good businessman. He's going to make good business decisions for whatever he's doing. So if he's leading a country, he's going to make a great business decision. that's probably going to help people like your dad.
That was initially my first thought when even before he announced, and there was rumors like that
Yeah,
Trump might run, and obviously we the last 4 years of Obama were just kind of like
yeah,
like lackluster. You
yeah,
know, you started seeing like the uprises and in the division and all that stuff between left and right. There was like
I,
no moderate no more.
yeah. I
And
never disliked Obama. I didn't necessarily agree with him. I know that he was a fantastic speaker.
yeah,
So I would listen. When McCain was running, uh, I grew up with his daughters. I went to the same school. I put the alarm system in his house when I was younger, working for a different alarm company, working for the alarm company that started my business, or that taught me everything I needed to know to start my business. So I knew him in a very like you know not personal level, but I'd spent a lot of time at his home, wiring things and stuff. So like I went to school with his kids, but like Obama, he had a very profound way of communicating with people. If you put that with Trump, it's game over
oh yeah.
because the business was there, like the business mindset. Um,
That's
if
what
you
I saw in him. Like I saw the business mindset. I saw that like, hey, he's made ton of money outside of in the private sector. You know what I mean? And to me, that just tells me this guy's successful. He has good ideas, but people sometimes think because you run a business, like it should be perfect. No,
yeah,
it's not. Trust me, guys. Running a business is not about perfection. You make
yeah.
mistakes along the way, especially within the first like 3 to 4 years. That's where if you really are trying to make your business succeed, you're gonna fail each month.
Dude, here here I am at being on my own for uh 18 years now on my own. Um, my technician and my right hand man, Jorge, he's been with me since, gosh, he's been with me for like almost 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And today I was telling him about kind of a frustrating thing with a customer. I think I touched lightly on it. I don't want to say who it is.
Oh, you're good.
It doesn't matter. But it was a very like unfortunate way of how things transpired, right? It was businessman to businessman. Um, and I'll tell you offline who it was, but it was telling him the story and him telling me as somebody that just is like literally a ride or die for me. He's like, I'm really sorry that you had to endure that. Like that had to have been hard. Like, cause I know you, and I know like that's not something that you're about, and that sucks that happened. And I was like, come on, man. Like how much cooler could you possibly be to me right now? This has nothing to do with you financially because you're my responsibility,
Mm-hmm.
you but I appreciated that. Like, I'm sorry that happened to you. That sucks, and you handled it well, And I was like, he didn't have to tell me that. He could have just been like, yeah, if that guy, whatever. But he didn't. It was more of like he was thinking of it as if, what would I do?
Yeah, there's shortfalls in the business all the time. Let it be a small one, or there could be a big one. But the point that I was trying to make is that people, especially that really have the hate towards the man Trump. They're like, oh, he had a university that failed, or he had this that failed, or he probably has like 20 failures to his 100 successes.
Babe Ruth, man. I mean, you know, uh, it could be said for dudes like us that are regular looking guys trying to get chicks before we were married.
It's a
You got to
numbers
stick
game.
out a lot, man.
It's a numbers game.
You got to try. If you don't try, you're gonna fail. You're gonna fail. You got to. I failed. I have failed so many times. I have failed in friendships. I have failed in business. I have failed in my marriage, and not in a way that's like, you know. But there's ways that in a friendship in a marriage that you can fail your partner that you don't really mean to do it, but you're learning about how to be a better person.
Right.
As long as you're moving forward and making and accountability. man, I can't say that keeps popping up for me. Accountability. Nobody takes accountability for their mistakes. It's a
It
push it off. It
it's
wasn't my fault.
that's a missed quality or a quality that is missed right now
Yeah,
from people. Accountability, just even recognizing,
yeah.
shortfalls and things like that. Because a lot of even in the business that I'm in, a lot of times it's easier to push things to another team. You know what I mean? Rather than say, guys, we own this. Let's get it taken care of.
I
Uh,
think people are used to living in fear of actually admitting that they're not perfect. And we're humans. We're messy. We're messy people. And it's normal. Like, you're not perfect.
and
And I appreciate that actually.
and I think that reality that we're able to actually like people's imperfections is probably why I lean towards Trump myself.
Yeah.
The man's
It's
not perfect. He's never said to be perfect.
no.
And
He's
I
actually kind of a goofy dude. He's kind
yeah,
of it's kind of an interesting guy. Like he's not your handsome knight in shining armor type dude. He's very much like the PE coach that we had in junior high, like with his nuts hanging out the bottom of his bike shorts. You know what I mean? Like,
I had two of them PE teachers. Man,
what I'm
don't
saying?
put thoughts in my mind because it was
I see
disturbing.
it. Yeah, I get that.
No,
Mr. Peterson, rest in peace. I'm sure that guy
oh man,
had cardiac arrest, but every time I think about it, I'm like, you know, he's kind of like the Shrek of presidents, like, but probably has a really good heart. Um, but accountability. A quick side story: I recently bought a new truck on the way home from work, um, and when I was doing that, I was chatting with one of my long-term guys that sells me my trucks, and he was like, "Yeah, a couple of the lot techs just got fired. We took a Corvette in on trade." And the lot techs were supposed to drive it to the back of the building. Said they took it for a joyride. Well, the guy took the other girl, the greeter, with him, and they crashed it through a wall. It crashed into the RV sales place next door. Busted up, crashed into an RV, the whole thing. Well,
jeez.
instead of just saying like I shouldn't have done that, I'm sorry. It was more of oh well, we tried to drive around. There was a whole bunch of excuses. We tried to drive around, but the gate was closed. So we ended up trying to go around and do a U-turn. They both got fired,
Oh
but
yeah, that's a
the
huge
owner
mistake.
had said all you had to do was just say like we shouldn't have done that. And it got a little wild, and it's a Corvette. Like, of course, we hammered it, and we weren't used to that, and we folded it up like a lawn chair, you know. And instead of that, like they got fired, and they're kids, right? But like, oh, I hope that's a lesson.
I was just gonna say that it's a lesson learned because
Yeah,
I'll even tell you in my fields that I've been in, I've had a similar situation like that where I was held accountable, or it was um I don't want to say the name of the person because I respect this person. I literally respect this person a lot. I learned a lot from him, how to run a business, how to treat people, and all that stuff. But he held me accountable. You know what I mean? And later on, he gave me more opportunity
yeah.
because in that moment, I did not say excuses. You know what I'm saying? So
It's hard.
yeah, it was hard to swallow at the time. Sure, it was hard, but it opened up another door when he went to another company and he thought of me. You know what I mean? And he recruited me at that time.
One of the most the
Yeah.
you can really watch somebody's face when you tell them that when you accept accountability. When I tell you, I look you in the face and I'm like, man, dude, I made a mistake. Like I want to take accountability for this. I screwed up on this or whatever it was, and I'm sorry, man. Like let me make it right. I made an error. Instead of making excuses, where I'm going to start like looking at you like, but you don't. You're focused more on making yourself look better.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you've told me you're human, which I already knew you were, and I already knew that humans are messy, but you admitted that to me. That means more to me. Like that's great. You embrace that about yourself and you want to fix it. which is what we all want to do as humans. Like, we want to admit that, yeah, we're messy people.
Yep.
But
Yep.
I want to fix it. So that's I'm going to admit that to you, and I'm going to say, I made this mistake. Forgive me for this.
Salesmanship 101, folks, is that if you show that vulnerability to a customer, they'll be loyal to you forever. Like when I did my insurance gig and I had my agency, not like I said, shortfalls here and there. You know, customers email you something, you didn't get it done. Something serious happened because that didn't get done. Sorry, Mr. Customer, didn't see your email. We're gonna get that taken care of for you. We'll make sure that your claim gets pushed forward or whatever. Yep. You know, simple accountability statement. We own the mistake. Let us make it right. Let's move forward. I had customers for 10 years. I'm telling you, I had customers for 10 years that followed me from company to company to company. And even though my prices were more, they were there with me.
Yep. Because people will pay more for the experience of being with you than being with someone else. And that's, like I tell people all the time, we are not the cheapest company, but we're not the most expensive. But I've been around for 31 years. I've learned a lot about what people want. And transparency is something huge that I focus on, and relationships. So if our relationship is good, this is in my personal life, this is my wife, this is for my friendships, business. If that relationship is solid, nothing else matters. The work, the finances, all of that will come. Mm-hmm. Don't focus on the money. Don't focus on, I need to make dollars for my family day. Focus on the relationships that you have with people, and cherish those things. You know, let your friends know. Normalize dudes. Like I think we've talked about this before. Normalize men being emotional, telling each other how we feel. There's something to be said about that. Like I saw you today for the first time in a week and a half, and I was like, dude, look at your face. You look happy. You look glow. You know, your skin looks great. You know, and I mean that in a sincere way. Like I'm stoked for you, man. Like you're getting it. You're getting it in life. Like you're killing it. You know, and you're feeling good in your life. You're feeling good in your home. You know, you're feeling good as a father. Like a friend is going to cheer for you full time. You know, not transactional. Our friendship, you and I, is not a transactional thing. You don't do for me and I do for you. It's no matter what. You're my friend. You know, I'm cheering for you. When you're down, I'm gonna try to cheer you up. You know, I'm not gonna be like, oh, that sucks, man. Let's dwell on it. You know, let's go down the dark path together. You know, no, it's like, hey, man, I'm here for you. I'm the soundboard. What do you need from me? How can I show up for you? I do that with customers. What do you need from what avenue are you trying to go down? What are you trying to achieve? With my wife, how can I show up for you? What do you need from me? Those are things that, like, they're small, but they're huge, I think.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, man, this was a good one.
Yeah, man. So I think we're at that time, and like definitely again, I had some ideas pre-planned, but I didn't know what the extent, how much we were gonna integrate those ideas here, and I think it just created a real conversation. To be honest, with what's going on in our nation, and I think that should be normalized. You know, having conversations should be normalized, and I'll leave it at that. I don't care if you're left or right. We should be all meet in the middle. We should all have lunch together. That's my cool motto.
And have that conversation with each other.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason to be like hurtful.
Yeah, there's no need for that.
If you realize that, if you haven't connected the dots, that Laz and I are both on the same page as far as like our political views, there's no reason for you to beat us up over that, because we're not beating you up over that. We're not saying that you're an idiot and you're wrong at all. This is not the channel for that. So that's trying to have that peace and understanding of, like, we're all different people, and that's okay. You're totally entitled to feel and believe the same way that I do, or your own way, and that's cool. I'm not going to not like you because you have different views. That's absolutely stupid. So, did you have anything else? Like, was that those are the two things?
There were some other ones, but we can save those for another time. Like I said, I think we're had a strong conversation, conversation, honest conversation about the status of our country. I love my country here, the United States. I love that I have neighbors. I love that I have friends. I love that I have family here. I love that there's living, breathing corporations that employ people. I even up to from small business to like large corporations. I love this country. The freedom that we have here is unlike any other country that's out there in the world. That's why people are flooding themselves out here. And not vice versa.
And I want those people here that
Yeah,
want to contribute to the same views that our country was built on. Like people try to say our views are outdated, but um, that's how we started. Like that's why people want to come here in droves, is because of our core values. And
yeah,
it's worked. It's not outdated. Um, the amendments are not outdated. They're there for a reason. Somebody, put those into place. That's like trying to tell me the Bible is outdated. You know what I mean? Like it's been there. It will always be there. I think that America should buckle up. This year's gonna be wild.
definitely is. Let's take care of each other.
Try to approach everything with grace, and if you're right, you're left, whatever. Be kind to each other, because honestly, it's very easy to just dive for the throat, right? It's very easy to insult people. It's very easy to make fun of people that especially if you're not understanding their point of view, and they've been deemed the devil by your standards. Practice kindness for no reason, as we always say, and have patience. Use that dad patience that we're trying to we're trying to perfect.
Definitely.
Be cool to each other for no reason. I mean, hey, we don't have to be friends at the end of the day, but I might run into you, and I want to be cordial. I don't. There's no reason for smoke. There's no reason to have a battle of wits. We're two dudes that enjoy spend time with each other once a week, talking about random stuff. This one was the most political we've ever gone down, but that was cool with me. Like it was a good chance to show people that we're not ramming our beliefs down people's throats. We're here for honest conversation, trying to be the most unbiased. I mean, I'm sure there's someone that can pick us apart, um, but hey, give us a chance. Like we're really trying to not be those guys that are standing on one side of the fence, yelling our values at you like you're the wrong one. So we open that conversation as long as it's cordial, as long as it's kind, as long as you're being, absolutely, fair in your conversation and not trying to be a dick for a less or better word. We all have different views. We've all been raised a different way. We've all started in home differently. So keep that in mind. And we thank you guys so much for tuning in, man. Like
Definitely.
We're stoked that you're here. Like it's wild.
So if you've made it this far, again, we have 34 subscribers on the channel. We want to grow this to 500 to 1,000 to 10,000, and we can only do it with you. Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, write down a question, hit us with a comment, whatever you like. Let's start an honest conversation. We appreciate you guys.
Yeah, thanks, man. And yeah, that is wild, right? We have like 32,000 views, or I think it's like that.
We're about 28 to be exact.
28. But the subscriptions are low, so if you can just click the subscribe button, that changes the whole world for us. So thank you.
Sure would.
You guys for listening and just watching our reels. So we appreciate you. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Here.